Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, March 31st, 2022, and you're watching WGAN TV live at 5. We have an awesome show for you today. Developing Matterport brand and shopping experiences powered by the Retail VR platform. And here to talk to us about that is Adrien Zanelli. Hey, Adrien, good to see you.
Hi, Dan. Good to see you.
Adrien is the Retail VR co-founder, heads up international business development for Retail VR on the website retail-vr.com. I reached out to Adrien because Retail VR is doing super exciting things, mashing up Matterport with virtual reality, augmented reality, and way cool other stuff. And so I asked Adrien, he was gracious enough to agree to do some demos for today. We're going to cover 5 demos of a virtual showroom, a virtual e-commerce, retail staging, shopping studies, and in-store activation, all kinds of great things that use Matterport and VR, AR, mashed up with the Retail VR platform. Adrien, before we jump into getting these demos, how about some context, first of all, about Retail VR, the company?
Right. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much for having me on board. I do appreciate it. We founded the company in 2018. Two co-founders, myself and Erwan, my associate. We are currently about 20. We are based in France, in Nantes, west of France. And basically, the idea with Retail VR is to say that the retail industry is going to be a top user of virtual reality and augmented reality for the coming years. And this has been drastically accelerated with the usage, with the recent COVID crisis, and re-emphasis with the metaverse that is coming to the market. And so when we had the project with Erwan about founding the company, we thought that there was a major barrier in adopting this 3D technology is the cost of actually setting those assets. And what we are trying to and offering to our client is a SaaS solution that will actually cover the entire retail value chain. So we are reducing the cost of producing 3D assets, and whether it's content, I will show you how it works. We have patented a 2D to 3D converter, or whether it's the container. And this is where the partnership with Matterport is very important, because we use Matterport digital twins as containers in which we are going to put our 3D assets to do all these showrooming experiences or Ecommerce or retail stagings. So we are addressing the merchandisers, the marketing people, the sales, and of course, we are also offering our clients an e-commerce, a new way of making e-commerce that is more immersive and that will bring more emotions to the client.
Awesome. You mentioned some tools for Retail VR. Maybe if we look at your tools platform, even before we look at the examples, maybe that'll help give us context for what we're about to see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I can share my screen with you. So let me show you the platform. This is basically how the platform works. So we have, you basically connect login and password. I mean, this is a SaaS platform. And then you're going to have different files. So the first one are the showrooms, where basically you are going to store all the different showrooms you have. Then we have the objects. So there we have the product. We have what we call smart objects and fixtures. And we are also working with projects. We have some analytics, and we can also use a way for organizing the way our clients are going to connect to the platform. If you have full rights or limited rights, depending on the access you get granted. And it's important to stress that we are API connected. So basically, we have all sorts of APIs that can be connected to the platform. I have mentioned briefly the 2D to 3D converter. Maybe I can show you the way it's processed. It's actually very simple to use. So I've made a short video. I will comment the video. So now you recognize the platform. So it's a basic drag and drop feature. So basically you have photos inside your computer. It can be 6 faces photos, and you are going to drag these photos into the platform. And you also have the measurement of these pictures, and you also are going to drag these. And then it's just a question of sorting the measurement and the photos, and the machine will do the rest. And after some minutes, then you get a 3D object that it was actually generated from a single face photograph. So this is very powerful because it really helps our client to, how to say, they're able to create 3Ds objects on the fly, thanks to this 2D to 3D converter.
So what I think is amazing about what you were showing is when we actually jump in to the front end demo, and our viewers are going, well, wow, how did you get those bottles of soda or products, whatever it might be, whether it's fashion or home or food or packaged goods or whatever it might be. You actually have this crazy exciting tool to convert 2D objects into 3D objects. And once they're 3D objects, to be able to insert them into the Matterport tour. And so there's a lot of magic that's going on with retail VR, which is why I was really excited about having you on the show. How about we actually jump into maybe the first demo with the virtual showroom. And I think now that we have a little bit of taste of how something was created, now we'll see how you actually use it.
Right. Okay. So I need to share the screen again. Up. 1 second. Right. So I guess you recognize here, so a Matterport environment, a digital twin. Now, the beauty of Matterport is actually the fact that you can have someone to scan for you all around the world. And you're actually in a store right now that was shot in Singapore. During COVID, we had a lot of our clients that asked us to do shooting. So this is really practical. You can, pick up the phone, find someone to do the scanning somewhere in the world. So now you're in the store. So you can see here we have these video screens that are around the place, and also you have the products, for instance here. So we offer those carousels of products. So I've taken different products. And you can also insert those 3D elements. So I will just show you this. For instance, this is a product sheet in which you'll have the 3D product. that you can play with. Eventually, you can pick up your mobile phone, and this is where the 3D comes with augmented reality. So if you scan this QR code, then you can actually use augmented reality to have the product on your desk or on your table, or if it's a piece of furniture in your living room, for instance. And you see, we have these product sheets that can handle video content as well as picture content, and of course you have some text here, and you can add these to the wish list. So here also you can have another set of environments. Same thing, carousels here. You have shortcuts there to help you navigate into the store. So if you want to, for instance, I don't know, aim to the jewels, here you are. And you can also place 3D elements like this and add this to your wish list. And the good thing is that from there, you can move to the wish list. If I can remove this.
So on that purse or pocketbook, it's actually, you could rotate that now in order to see that product. Yeah.
Yeah, you can rotate this and get it back to the wish list. I have this thing that I can't remove. Okay. I wanted to show you how to remove the wish list, but the cross is behind the Zoom stuff, so I can't.
Yeah, I know we got a lot going on with how we do WGAN TV live at 5. I know when it's actually super simple to do what you're doing when you're not actually doing the show itself. So we'll just accept that you could change it and it's easy peasy.
Right. Thank you very much. What I wanted to showcase is that basically you can then place your order and exit the platform.
So there's a lot going on. If we could just go back to that image for a second, to that Matterport tour mashed up with retail VR.
Yeah. Okay.
Even before this screen, if we go right back to the tour, is that possible? Yeah. So yeah. You called up an individual product. It was either a purse or the perfume, right. And you added it to the shopping cart. Is the shopping? Is that a Shopify shopping cart? Is that a
Right? Thank you for asking this the question. This is very important. We are Shopify compatible. So basically we have an API that is connected to Shopify, which helps us to import the product very easily. And also we are currently implementing the same thing for PrestaShop and Magento. These are two other CMS available from the market.
Hey, I heard Magento's company. I missed the second one.
PrestaShop. PrestaShop. I don't know if
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
If I saw it spelled out, I might recognize it, but
there are different CMSs available. You have PrestaShop. Shopify is probably the most famous one. You also have Ecommerce. Really depends on the market where you.
Okay, so the point there though is you're staying within the Matterport tour while you're doing your shopping. Presumably the pricing that we're seeing is actually could be dynamic pricing. You're not going back, your client's not going back into a Matterport tour and changing every Matter tag to reflect new pricing that changed today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next quarter, next year. It's all the pricing's being managed within the third-party platform using their API such as Shopify in order to accomplish that.
Yeah, you're right. You're completely right, Dan. This is fully automatized, and since we are connected to the API, we have the prices, the stock as well.
So that's what I'm trying to show here. So, if I happen to be a Matterport service provider, I mean, if you were showing this to your retail client, they would look at that and they would get it. But I also want to just kind of highlight, if you're a Matterport service provider, you shoot Matterport tours in your market, you're wondering if a retail store is a potential client. This is an example to see that the Matterport service provider doesn't have to think about, oh, how am I going to update pricing every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year? This is just too overwhelming for me to even think about talking to a retail store. But now that I understand that, no, the Matterport tour powered by the retail VR platform that is using APIs from a shopping platform such as Shopify makes it super easy, super fast for the retailer to do what they're presently doing, just tied into their existing shopping cart. And it's not a lot of work for anyone because it's fitting into their existing workflow. So really, in this example, if you're a Matterport service provider, all you need to do is shoot the space, or better yet, show them the retail VR, we're recording today's show, show them the what's possible and go, okay, if this works for you, you use Shopify, that's great. I can shoot the tour and we can do this integration with the retail VR platform.
Yeah, that's completely correct. And also, I can, I've just had it like some sort of video screen here. You see, it's very simple. And for instance, I'm going to add here, and you see this is very, very simple. I can change the color, and then here I'm connected to a Shopify mockup, and I can actually access all the products that are in the database, and I can make a selection. If I'm interested into, let's say, these products, I take a random product sample. It's just to show you how it works and how simple it is. I can use different templates there, and then up I go from editor mode to client mode, and there you can see up. If I press there, you're going to have the carousel appearing, and all the content that is into Shopify will appear onto the screen. So if I don't have any content, then it's me filling the Shopify before reaching the products. So it's done all in one. Yeah.
So stay with me here for a second, because I think what we're seeing, there's actually two concepts in one, and I think one of these concepts we're going to show separately. So the first concept is you take an existing store with existing product, and you have a library of the products within the retail VR, which has come in through the API through Shopify, and you're now saying, okay, I have every product that's in the store because it's actually within the e-commerce shopping platform. And now all I'm doing is adding hotspots to each of the products that I want to enable the customer to purchase. And I can either do an individual product, or I can give them a carousel of related products. Am I doing that right?
Yeah, this is completely, you are exactly saying that what's going on, and and you can also add 3D assets.
So the 3D assets, I think, is actually is really your virtual e-commerce demo. Yeah.
3D assets can be added into the store. There I have added a bag, which I can actually remove, or you see it's this bag. I'm removing it, and then I can place there. I have a 3D element placed, and I can actually add a 3D object here. If it's a product, then I'm going to go to the product library. So it's I would say the same thing as if I was going to the PrestaShop. The idea is to get to go to the library and pick up the product that I want to put on the tape on this table. So I've removed the green bag. I'm going to put it back, and there it goes. And then if you go, you move to the client mode, and then you can have the product that will appear here. And like we've done before, you can manipulate the product. And this product is actually stored into the platform.
So what I think is super interesting about that is because I would say that there's probably every Matterport service provider that has ever created a Matterport tour has had a client say to them, oh, I forgot to include da-da-da in the space. Is there any way you can Photoshop it in? And in the past, what we would say is, sorry, what you see is what you get. But now you're able to say, hey, good news is there's actually a way to add products to an existing Matterport tour using the retail VR platform.
True.
And I think you're gonna show some things on steroids. You're gonna show us some really exciting integrations. But if you just wanted to add a couple products, it's now possible to do that with a Matterport tour powered by the retail VR platform.
Right. And for instance, you can imagine having a shelf with no products on it, in which you are going to position the products. You can position a background, and you can have a shelf that where you're going to showcase promotions, for instance, or new release product, and you can locate the 3D inside the store and actually change the background and then put the product sheet as you would do on a regular basis, or as you have seen on the screen.
Awesome. Adrien, I still have questions on this tour. Could we go back to the Matterport tour? Because I think we were just taking it as an assumption that when you displayed the Matterport tour, that we were actually seeing video screens, video walls that were playing. And as far as I know, I can't do that with my Matterport camera. So there's some magic that's taking place as a result of retail VR's platform. Maybe what you could do is just at least point to us in that tour. I know we got a lot of things going on the demo front, so it may be hard to pull it back up, and I'm probably maxing out everything. But I think the point is, had you been able to go back to that tour, what we would have seen is video walls surrounding that store. And I could imagine retail VR platform enables adding a video screen anywhere in a three-dimensional space.
Yes, that's correct. Let me try to share again with you.
Okay.
Whilst we were talking, I've tried to show how we can integrate the screens. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. I took this out of screen share, but if you have it all set up and queued up, why don't you take us back into the sharing? Also, when you show it to us, maybe what you could also show is, in fact, even that's interesting that we're presented the screen of language. So you're not limited to hard coding the text in English or French, for example.
This is actually the home page. So when you log into you can have like a video showing in the first page, or you can have a picture, and then you're going to enter the store. And so I'm on the client side. So this is I quitted the editor mode, and there you can see all the screens I've added there on the top. There are different screens that I can add. So you can actually roll different videos. So whilst we were exchanging, I've added this video right here, which is actually a chocolate video. So that was to stress the difference. But you see, you can add all sorts of videos there. You also have we also have like 3D shapes if you want to use the 3Ds instead of using the usual dots. And as far as the videos are concerned, like I said, you also have the possibility to have videos inside the product sheet. So you have the pictures, of course, you have the description, and you also have the video inside the product sheet. And also we are connected to the social networks, which means that if you want, you can send these to the social network.
Is there a live guided tour
Yes.
part of it?
Yes. Well, there's something I can show you. We've worked on a personal shopper demo. Basically, you are on a website where you are going to select handbags. So I'm going to select these, for instance, and I can book a private shopper, a personal shopper that is going to connect into the showroom. So there, it's not connected, but you can imagine, I don't know if you see the screen, checking permissions.
Checking permissions, please.
Right. So
have the use of the microphone and webcam. Yes.
Right.
And I think we're using the microphone for our show, and webcam for our show. So I can imagine it's just a little bit too crazy to try and demo it on what we're doing. Yeah.
But this is to show you that there you would have the seller, the salesman of this boutique. I can make an appointment with him, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I selected 3 bags, and these 3 bags automatically appeared in the store.
I'm tingling.
I'm selecting the bags here, and they appear into the store on those plots.
Yeah, I'm tingling. I don't know if that converts to French, but it's super exciting to see what you just did. It was like, oh, well, that was easy. I can't imagine how hard it was to do that, but it from a user standpoint, well, of course you would display the 3 designer bags on pedestals while my personal shopper appears to perhaps answer my questions about them.
Yeah, and then, yes,
so just for clarification, that's a real person. That's not a little chat bot. There's no, that's a real personal shopper. That's a feature of the platform. And if your client wants to have a real person, then they can do that. And I could imagine, I'm not sure if it comes up with one of your other tours. We're still kind of on this virtual showroom, but I know that Retail VR has done a lot with, I want to say, the annual designer clothing lines out of Italy. And I could imagine that's a feature you'll be offering to your designers for their virtual showroom for buyers to interact with buyers.
Definitely. Actually, this feature has been, we had 2 use cases for this. The first one, during the COVID crisis, we have these fashion weeks that are happening in Europe.
I'm sorry, you called them
Sorry?
What did you
call fashion them? Weeks. Fashion weeks. Yeah. The fashion weeks, well, you have them in the US as well, but it's very important, and you get people to travel from all around the world, and they were stuck because no one could fly anymore. So we've actually connected with wholesalers, CRM wholesalers, in order to recreate a way to visit a digital showroom, and to actually being able to interface with the salesperson that would drag their client into the showroom, the Japanese client, the client from the US, show them the new collection during the exhibition.
So were you using that live guided chat feature for those fashion weeks?
Yes, at the time.
That must have blown your clients away. They just must have been like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and there's another use case in which we've used it. So it could be a transition, maybe to show you the VR showrooms that we are offering as well.
Hey, is this virtual e-commerce, or we're not up to that yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move into virtual e-commerce powered by retail VR.
Right. And so the idea with virtual e-commerce, I think, is to being able to create immersive worlds, immersive shopping experience, whether they are related to existing stores or whether they are related to the usage of the product.
Hey, Adrien, forgive me for interrupting, but your screen's been frozen, and actually now it's moving. I was going to suggest that you maybe sign off and sign back in, but I think we're good now. So
okay.
I know you have so many things open on your computer that it's probably affected us a little bit. So forgive me, we're back to virtual e-commerce powered by retail VR.
Thank you very much, Dan. So, like I said, the idea with virtual e-commerce is actually to recreate immersive stores in VR, to either recreate a store or something that relates to the product, in which you can the product into the environment that it's going to be used for. So maybe I can share with you this Nespresso showroom that we've done for Nespresso. Maybe I can share the screen with you.
Yes, please.
So same thing, you get to launch it's an URL, and then you can launch and get connected to the server.
It's still struggling to connect, and I just wonder if it might make sense to sign off and sign back in, and see if that clears stuff up. Well, it just came up.
Okay. So tell me if it's not clear.
Yeah, the audio problem. Why don't you sign off, sign back in, and we'll just pick it up.
Okay, I'm signing up.
Yep, I'll stay here. Okay. All right, so Adrien will be back. Retail VR, the website is www.retail-vr.com. He's showing these super exciting integrations of Matterport meets virtual reality meets augmented reality. It's all possible because their platform, the retail VR platform, enables way cool stuff using the retail VR platform, their tools, their tool set. I think we started to get a little bit of the demo on that first of 5 that we were looking at, the virtual showroom. That was pretty cool. Now Adrien is going to show us the virtual e-commerce. He alluded to this a little bit during the virtual showroom demo. That was pretty cool. So this is the idea of being able to take a space and virtually stage it with 3-dimensional objects. And I think at that point, Adrien can pick it up. So we're back.
Yes, sorry for this. Yeah, well, I wanted to tell you more about the virtual e-commerce or v-commerce, however you call it, which I think is really a one step towards the metaverse. So I can share with you this experience.
I might have to. Oh, good. Okay, you still have sharing privileges. Okay, great.
So something I need to mention probably. Why has Nespresso decided to recreate an Espresso store? The reason is quite simple, is that for their client, the store is very important, and they have digital clients, clients that are buying mostly online, that still are going to the store to taste the latest coffee and so on. So we have really worked on redesigning the store as it would be. And you see, you have some tricks here how to actually show the caps. You can select the products, and then you have the product description. So it's the same mechanism as we've seen before. You probably don't have the same carousels, but you have the same product sheet, same information, and you can put the products into the shopping basket. And as we were saying before, we have also how to say the human is important, and the sellers for Nespresso are actually called the coffee counselors. So we can also have an interaction with these coffee counselors, and they can come and help you, assist you whilst you are shopping online. And the beauty is that, of course, you can change, for instance, the colors. You can play with the objects, and you have also some information about. Oops, sorry.
Now,
There's a lag.
this space looks totally virtually staged. Did it begin with a Matterport space?
Yes, in the first stage, what we do is that we use Matterport to create the digital twin, which helps us to actually get all the measures, all the textures, and all the pictures, of course. So we always start with scanning a real store with Matterport, and from there we are going to our graphic designers are going to basically redesign the store and work it out the way we want it to be. So it's a process that is handled with our clients. They actually decide on how they want to have the store set up. We also are thinking about the customer journey. It shouldn't be too long. It shouldn't be you want to go straight to the point. So this is why there's a mixture between real merchandising and virtual merchandising, I would say. So I wanted to show this experience, maybe to stress that this is really, in my opinion, going to be the new way of retail for retailers to address their clients. And also, I forgot to mention that you can have the same thing, which is to actually put those into the basket. You can select the products and actually buy it. And then same thing, we are twinned with Shopify and PrestaShop, so you can actually pour your shopping basket into a shopping environment.
Cool. All right. Did you want to stay on the category of virtual e-commerce, or are you ready to move on to retail staging?
Yeah, I think we can move on to retail staging.
Okay.
So retail staging, to give you a bit of background, the retail staging actually is using the converter to do 3D. The idea there is to simulate customer journeys. So when you are a brand and you want to showcase what the assortment or what a new product will look like into a store, or if you want to place POS equipment, so point of sales merchandising boxes, these sort of promotional equipments into the store, you can use retail staging. So then again, maybe I share with you the screen. So this is virtual, and then I'll show you in the first place the virtual one, and then I'll show you once again how we use Matterport, the digital twins of stores, and how we use it to simulate the same thing. So there I'm in a virtual store. Eventually I get this eagle view where I can you see where I'm currently heading in the store. And for instance, if I want to place, let's say, some fixtures there, then I can do this, remove the shelves. And then from the platform, I'm connected to the platform. So from there, I'm going to select different shelves that I would like to insert. So I'm going to insert this massive shelf here. And there, you see, it's very simple. It's just a basic drag and drop system. And there I can position the shelf into the store. And this is done very easily. And all the products you see there are actually recreated from our 2D to 3D converter.
So pause there for a second. We'll keep this image in our mind. I could imagine this could almost be obvious that if you're a retail merchandiser, you're a grocery store person, you look at that and you go, wow, I can see all the benefits. Let's step aside and say, hey, I'm a Matterport service provider. Yep. Why does that matter? What's the benefit? Who's the audience for doing that? How do they use it? What's the advantage? What are the benefits of what we just saw for whom?
Right. Basically, if you address the retail industry, your clients may want to have digital twins in which they would like to see the assortment to appear. So the idea, for instance, currently we are digitalizing furniture stores. We are digitalizing food stores using Matterport, and it's the best way to simulate the customer journey and to simulate the new assortment that your client may want to put into the store. So if you are a Matterport user, you can go to any store, any brand owner that is selling FMCG goods, or that is selling even clothes, because we are now working for the clothing industry. And the idea is for them to be able to simulate the journey. For, let's say that you want to remove, I don't know, the coffee beans and remove the coffee section with sweets, for instance. How are you going to simulate this? Either you do it physically, which means that you'd have to remove all the elements one by one and replace with sweets, or you can simulate this using the 3D. It's the same thing when you speak about product, placing POS equipment or merchandising equipment. Maybe I can share with you again the screen.
Before you do, let me see if I can ask the question. I think about it as a life cycle of from the beginning to the end. I'm thinking, okay, the store, let's say those were all I'm in Atlanta, easier for me to think about Coca-Cola. They got 20 million different kinds of products that they offer. So they might go to a retail store that's got 200 locations and say, hey, for this aisle, for this half of aisle, this is the way we think you should merchandise. You should have Coke, Diet Coke, Zero Coke, Sprite, every different iteration, how many bottles, how many cans, height, shelf, depth, and essentially, again, I'm not in the retail space, but I can imagine there's a conversation that says, and we'll pay you X number of dollars if you give us this space and this is the way we're going to merchandise it. So that's kind of phase one. And I'm guessing there's probably an old school way that has previously been done. Either you physically took a client to a make-believe retail store and said, this is the way it looks. And then somebody says, well, we don't really like that. And they start moving the different bottles and cans around. And maybe this is like 3 or 5 different trips to some place to kind of settle on what that final thing looks like. You're almost showing me it can be done in real time in a meeting.
Yeah, you're completely right. Then this is I can give you an example. We are working with a world leader for dairy products called Lactalis. You have their President Camembert probably in the US if you eat cheese, and they are. We've digitalized their showroom, and usually they gather people to their head offices, and so they have like 5-10 persons coming, and then they discuss about the assortment. They discuss about the signage that they are going to put into the store. They discuss about all these details on how the merchandising is working. During COVID, same thing. This is why I've mentioned earlier that COVID has been a great accelerator for us. During COVID, they could not get the people in their physical store, in their physical showroom. So what did they do? We've actually, thanks to the converter, thanks to the fact that we are also twinned with merchandising solutions such as Blue Yonder, Relax, and so on, we create on the fly planograms that are then showcased into these virtual store or these Matterport stores, and then they can share these with their clients. And we've measured because we
in phase 2. So bear with me, but I think first is like, okay, instead of doing these 5 meetings, which we now couldn't even do with COVID, we can have this excuse me, this virtual meeting, digital stage. The store says, okay, I like it. And maybe in a previous world, somebody would take a picture, a planogram, a flat 2-dimensional object, and send that out to 200 stores and say, okay, this is the way this store needs to look. I think what I'm hearing in phase 2, once everybody has agreed to the space, how it's going to be productized, then the next thing is, okay, now we got to get 200 stores to look exactly like this. But perhaps instead of actually sending out a 2D photo, is you can now send a Matterport tour that's been virtually staged, powered by retail VR, so that the store team, the stockers, I guess, if that's the word, not stalkers, stockers, that the stockers can actually look at it and see that it looks exactly like the 3-dimensional model.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And it's also...
And I'm sorry, is there anything on that phase 2? So I'm going to call that a virtual, a 3D planogram.
Yeah. It's actually setting a 3D planograms and setting it into the store. You're right.
And I'm also going to guess that you all have, because you talked early on, you talked about the importance of APIs, and I think you mentioned, but you actually have APIs to the planogram kinds of companies, so that you can just presumably, if your team's used to working in the planogram platform, there's probably a format, and then you can take the export and import it into the retail VR platform using an API?
It's actually for some of these companies we are working on APIs, and but otherwise, as you mentioned, there's a standard which was set by it's actually a US company, a worldwide leader in these technologies, called Blue Yonder, former JDA, and they actually set a standard, and most of the planograms merchandising solutions are using this standard, so we can convert like you've seen at the beginning of our conversation, we import the product, 2D images into the platform, then create in 3D. It's exactly the same thing. You are going to import these files, and they are going to create these 3D planograms like I just showed you before. So
this is really cool. So again, if I'm a Matterport service provider, I'm scratching my head and I go, okay, I got these retail stores. I have made in Atlanta, I got all these big brands that are headquartered here. Yep. And they say, no, we got a team of people that work in planograms. I can't change their workflow.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. We take the export from their planogram platform. I think Elastic Pitch, Lay, New Black, Visla, if I've mentioned them correctly, and just in phase one is just import them into the platform. Eventually, presumably there'll be an API. It'll make it even easier. And so now this kind of phase two of the life cycle of a retail experience is a Matterport 3D tour planogram that gets distributed to the 200 plus stores. And so they can nail it in terms of what it looks like. Now, I'm going to pause there because I think now that takes us back to the first demo that you did of the virtual showroom, because you now actually have created a retail store that could be online. So the store, you've already done the Matterport tour. You've changed some things to highlight your products. You could conceivably then turn that into not that that's where you were going, but it sounds like it conceivably you could have a hybrid of, we have the store as it exists today, but we have our products that are merchandised in this tour, and maybe the hot buttons only work on the Coca-Cola products of which you can buy as an example.
Yeah, definitely. This could be the next stage, or the phase 3, which is and the circle is completed, which definitely could be to simulate the store and actually make a connection with the Shopify, for instance.
Yeah, I'm guessing, Adrien, that actually kind of leads nicely into the before I go on, I think the point of everything you've just said, and COVID kind of amplified it, was this whole experience saves a ton of time. It saves a ton of money, particularly companies that are used to traveling people across the country, around the globe. It collapses time. So I imagine, even with the clients that you've had so far, that retail VR has been able to point out to say, hey, we save X number of dollars, we save X amount of time. And I imagine there's this ancillary benefit of reducing carbon, just simply because you're doing less. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, for instance, when you're going digital, I've mentioned this Lactalis, for instance, this dairy company. They could share their showroom with, usually, like I mentioned, they share it with about 10-15 people from one company. They are dealing with about 7 of the main distributors in France. This time they could share it with over 350 persons. So there were actually 350 persons involved into these merchandising campaigns that could look at the store, at the digital store, and their decision has been accelerated by the fact that they could visualize the way it would look. And also, you can imagine that you don't have these people to travel around to their head office. So you are saving also on CO2 emissions. Not to say when you're traveling from overseas, like I've mentioned before, for the Fashion Week, of course, this really, we've estimated that for one brand, when gathering all their clients for the fashion week, we've estimated that it's 1,200 tons of CO2 emissions that we have saved. So you're saving on time, of traveling, of course, of CO2 emissions, but also time for setting those stores. Because once you are, like you said, if it's physical, then you grab your client, take them to the store, and they're going to change the layout or to the showroom. But if you do this virtually, you can do the same, or you can interact with the client like we are doing now in the virtual environment, and you can make proposal 1, proposal 2, proposal 3, decline all the proposition that you wish, because it's all digitalized and it's all related to a planogramming system, or it's all completely interacted with API. So this is you are
saving
really
money.
saving,
I think that
saving money and time.
Is, you're talking about such a large dollars that when somebody starts talking about, well, how much is all this stuff in terms of doing this Matterport shoots and digitally staging, and I imagine all that is actually a fraction of the way old school doing stuff has been. And now if they want to do old school, they can continue to do it. The Fashion Week in Milan decides that they still want to have in person, they're going to do that. But for all those other buyers that couldn't afford the time, the money to travel, they can still have just as awesome a shopping experience, even with the personal shopping person interacting with them in the virtual experience. Shopper studies.
So shopper studies, I'll be short about this one. Basically, the idea is the same idea with shopper studies. When you launch a new product, you want your client to test the product. So how do? You usually use physical showrooms. It's very unlikely that you would have someone to a real store basically to run shopper studies. So usually you use a space where you're going to recreate an assortment. So you have to buy all the products first. It takes time. Eventually, sometimes people use massive billboards on which they print the assortment. And then you have to get a consumer to actually, shoppers to actually bring to that place and see how they behave. So we work with shopper institutes, and these guys are they have their panels of shoppers. And what's also very interesting is that usually it's very localized. So people don't buy the same way when they're in California or when they're on the East Coast. The weathers are different, the mentalities are different. So the best is when you run a shopper study online, because then you can have panels from California, panels from New York, panels from wherever, even from overseas. And this is what we provide, is this idea of being able to actually run a shopper study online, if possible, or eventually in front of a computer, or you can use also the headset. And then you are going to study, or our partners are going to study the way the shoppers are behaving. So there you really save a lot of time and of course a lot of money, because like I said, you don't have to physically buy the products. All the brands that we work with, or all the supermarket chains, they have pictures of their product. So we use 2D to 3D converter. We create those 3D planograms, and then we expose the clients to these shopping experience. I can actually share with you a shopping experience.
Yeah, that would be great. I also imagine that in this testing process, if you quickly identify there's a problem, rather than continuing with that problem, you can make the change. So you can iterate almost in real time to get to the solution faster for less money.
Definitely. It's we've found out that it happens already, that they start a shopper study, and then after 10-15 shoppers, they realize that there's something wrong. So then they get back to us, and also with the agency. They rework, and we rework the planograms, and then we re-push it. So you can, you can also, the beauty is that you can have, I would say it's almost unlimited. You can run a shopper study on a complete store environment, which is usually not done, but you could imagine to have so. So we work with Nestle Waters, for instance. We work with Nestle, and for one of their division, Waters, we could run the study on 6 different aisles, which is it's huge. Usually you run the study on few elements, eventually one aisle, but 6 different aisles. It's really definitely it enlarged the way you are going to run your shopper study.
You wanted to show us something.
Yes, sorry, I'm going to share that with you.
So while Adrian's getting set up, the website is retail VR with a hyphen, retail-vr.com, retail-vr.com. And your screen's just coming up.
Right. So there, I think you can recognize the environment, and so since you're in Atlanta, so there, the idea, and it's working even better when you're in the headset. So the idea is for the consumer to be able to, usually you give them a mission, and you say, okay, or you ask them, how do you, what do you usually buy in this? So the client would buy the way they prefer. So we make different versions. And if they have a mission, maybe you're going to tell them, okay, can you grab the cherry coke, for instance? So maybe it's somewhere there. So you're going to identify how long they spend. Everything is recorded, and you also have eye tracking possibilities, so that you see where the people are focusing, and then they can put the product into their basket, and then they can change. You see, and no, I don't want this one, so I put it back, and they can actually run into the store and manipulate the product and buy the product and put it into the basket. And by doing so, we identify how the consumer are behaving in front of the assortment. So these shopper studies are run with shopper institutes, and they're the one to then analyze and basically work on the study. And what we do provide as well is the possibility to run A/B testings. So let's say that you want to launch a product and you're not so sure about the packaging. You can A/B test within your company or with your panel of shoppers, and we can work a workflow like this, like you've seen, very easily using our platform to actually create these A/B tests. So the question would be, have you spotted that bottle? Yes or no? And then you show the bottle. Would you rather have a bottle in red color or blue color? And then you're going to figure out a decision tree. And this is very easy to work on. It actually takes minutes, I would say, to work on such a tree. So the idea is to be able to run for a limited cost as many A/B testing as you can to make sure that your clients or that your decision making is the correct one.
Awesome. Before we move on to the last category that we were going to discuss today, the in-store activation, talk to me a little bit about metrics that the retail VR platform provides for the shopper studies in particular, but also statistics in general for all the different experiences we're looking at.
Right. So for the shopper studies, I would say all the metrics are usually handled by the shopper agencies, but we comfort them with like the number of products and the references that have been actually handled by the client, how long they spent into the store. We can, like I said, we also have eye tracking for this. And as for the showroom, we have the same information. So how many clients have visited the showroom, how long they spend, what type of product they've selected, and we can also plug the eye tracking information system in case you want to really deep dive into the consumer behavior.
And do you keep track of time? We were looking at the live guided tour. Are there metrics regarding? Do you relate back? Sally was the live guided tour for those 3 purses that you were showing us earlier.
Yes.
There was sales that were made. So, and we know that Sally, sales attributed to Sally was X. Sales attributed to Dan was 1/2 X. Maybe we need to say, Sally's really our star at doing live guided tours with. Is there something like that in terms of metrics?
Yeah. I mean, definitely we when there's a personal shopper that comes to the store, we know who was there, how long they were there, and eventually we can record the whole process in case you want to analyze this. And since we use the basket, because we pour the basket into the, I use this imaging of pouring the basket into the Shopify, for instance, or whatever CRM comes behind. Then of course we can compare the total sales of one salesperson versus the sales of another person.
Awesome. In-store activation.
Right. So let me try to explain you how in-store activation works. Maybe you can. I will try to run this demo.
Okay.
Also
so
with you.
Stay with us. This is a little bit extra effort to get this piece working, doing WGAN TV live at 5 with all our technology, trying to overlay retail VR meets augmented reality, meets Matterport, meets the whatever else. There's a lot going on in what we're going to try and do here that Adrien's going to try and do. So I'm just waiting for him to do his next step. I don't.
Do you see my iPhone coming or not?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I'm stalling for time while that's happening.
Okay. So I guess it's not going to work this time.
Okay. We may get to do it once per session. Do you want to just try one more time on your phone?
Yeah, let me try again.
Okay.
The idea is to actually use augmented reality to connect the salesperson and
I'm going to let Adrien focus on the phone and just to tell you, you're watching WGAN TV live at 5. Adrien, you think it's going to work or no?
No, it's asking me. It's actually asking me for a secret code password that I think we didn't get this
No.
earlier on. So never mind.
So you have a video prepared. You're going to roll some
Yes,
video for us to see.
yes.
In fact, while Adrian's setting up to play this video, I would say if what you're about to see is of interest, call Adrien or go to retail-vr.com. There's an opportunity to set up a meeting with Adrien, get him to demo it for you. It's way cool. It's way cool, but we'll watch a video of it.
Yes, and also I think it's important for those who are Matterport user. We are offering there's a trial. So basically, if you have a link of your Matterport digital twin, you can bring the link onto our website under the section of showrooms and under the subsection of Matterport. And there you have a 15 days trial if you want to use our solution basically. So feel free to.
You're specifically talking about the augmented reality solution meets Matterport.
So no, I'm specifically talking about the what we've discussed in the first place, which was the showroom using Matterport, the one that can be connected to the Shopify, for instance, or if you want to run a visit or something like this.
Okay, awesome. Let's see your video.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this video running. Sorry. There it is. So
share screen.
I'm not sharing the screen, am I?
Nope, share screen.
No. Okay, sorry for this. Oh, there it goes. So you see the screen now?
Almost. Now I do.
Okay, all right. So let me put it back. So you've seen that we are using augmented reality. The idea is to push the modelized POS equipment into the store, so that when you are a salesperson, you've actually discussed with the store on the assortment that you wish to put. But then you have the merchandisers or the salesperson that are on the field, and these guys quite often they have to use catalogs, paper catalogs, or they have to use PowerPoint presentation, and it's very difficult for them to showcase what the insertion of a signage of a promotional item would be. So we use augmented reality for the salesperson to push those catalogs into the store, basically.
Yeah. So this is actually way cool. The fact that you can be on site, you've taken the 2D products, turned them into 3D, turned the 3D products into a whole standee, whatever it's called in the retail space, and now the ability to actually place it to show a prospect to say, this is what it would look like here in your store. So way cool. I think at this point, what I'd like to do is just ask you some questions before we wind down. Who's the sweet, what kind of categories are the sweet spot for retail VR?
Right. So we have, well, if you are a Matterport user, definitely you want to aim at any of your clients that have a store. This is, I guess, very obvious that you want to turn their store into an immersive shopping experience, thanks to the fact that we are twinned with Shopify, Magento, PrestaShop. Now, for those persons that are related to brand owners, I call them, or industrials, or you want to aim to the category managers, the marketing managers, the merchandiser, these persons that are suffering with showing and viewing how the assortment could be, or how difficult it is to launch a product when you can use 3D. You see that it makes a difference. So these are the person you want to target.
So it sounds like, and thank you for that, because I was actually thinking of something slightly different, which is retail. Retail includes clothing. It includes product, consumer packaged goods. It might be food, home care, furniture. I'm looking at, what the demo that you've taken us through today and say, if you have any physical retail store, you're probably a good candidate for retail VR. Is there a sweet spot in terms of size? Do you work with one individual store, or is it I need to be 10 stores? I need to be 200 stores?
No, we can start with one individuals. I would say that currently we are working with sometimes multinational. I've mentioned Nestle and so on, but we are also, we have clients that are that have single stores with a very tiny assortment, but very high value product. So these also are our clients. So you really want to aim these clients so that they can have sometimes clothing, for instance. Before I worked with the clothing industry, I figure out when I go into the store that merchandising is done, you have male on one side, female on the other, and the kids at the back. No, it's the assortment of clothing. There's a lot of merchandising reflection behind that. So, and it's very important to reflect how the merchandising is done into the store, because this is what is going to attract the consumer and generate this impulse buying. So we work with the clothing industry. We have a furniture reseller. We have food and beverage. We work with supermarket chains. We work with different. Basically, anyone with into retail, whether it's e-commerce or whether it's brick and mortar, can come to the platform and get our solution working.
So if I'm one retail store in one location, I shouldn't be concerned that this is going to cost $1 bazillion or bazillion euros. I should think, oh, this is a totally affordable solution. It's perfectly fine to be one store. Retail VR would be perfectly fine if it's the head of the retail store that has 100 or 200 or 500 or 1,000, but you're happy to have a conversation from one store to many stores. And I think you're probably perfectly fine too if a Matterport service provider who does retail stores wants to reach out to you to have a conversation to say, hey, I've shot all these retail stores, their products are constantly changing. I'm maybe doing a refresh once a quarter for them, but watching today's WGAN TV show kind of inspires me that I think there's an opportunity for me to add a huge amount of additional value to my clients. Mm-hmm. I just want to have that conversation with you so I kind of understand how this works, what you need, who pays what. Am I the Matterport service provider going to pay retail VR? Am I really handing retail VR off to my client? And it's a three-way conversation. So you're open to those kinds of discussions, whether it's a retailer, a Matterport service provider, or a major chain.
Yeah, right. You're completely right. That if you're a Matterport camera owner, you can use our platform to resell to your client a store, for a virtual store, for instance. If you are a brand, of course, you may want to use these merchandising solutions if you want to create A/B testings internally or use the retail staging and so on. So
I'm actually hearing it could be any. So if I'm a Matterport service provider and I do furniture stores, I might say, no, I want the subscription to retail VR in behalf of my client. I'm just going to provide this value because my client loves the fact that I just do it all for them. Then I have clients that say, or photographers that might say, no, this is a little bit overwhelming to me. I can see the value, but I think I'd rather do the introduction to retail VR, but I want to keep shooting spaces for them. And they'll be happy to have me keep shooting the spaces. You don't really care about that. You're happy to have the content shot anywhere, presumably.
Yeah. We actually are looking for a value-added reseller at some point. Eventually for the US, I mean, specifically for the US, definitely. So we have these agreement where actually you can be a Matterport service provider and just want to use our platform and resell it to your client, or just be, working on commission. If you bring a client, of course, we can work this way. Has a used Matterport service provider has a reseller.
Okay, awesome. So if you're watching today's show, you're in the your headquarters for retail VR is actually in Nantes, France, on the west on the west coast.
Yes.
And if I happen to be a value-added reseller of some sort in the United States, and I look at this show and go, oh my gosh, this is just amazing. I want to be a value-added reseller for retail VR. Go to retail-vr.com and book an appointment with Adrien and have that conversation. There's one thing I wanted to come back to, because at some point early in the show, you mentioned metaverse. Did you have some thoughts on this topic?
Yes, definitely. Metaverse is also really going to change the way retailers are going to do business for the future, and I think everybody's concerned about this. And the US is booming on this metaverse currently, and we are really I would say everything's ready for us to bring our clients to the metaverse retail new world, I would say. Like you've seen, we can do 2D to 3D conversion. We can do these immersive shopping experience. We can eventually recreate a complete metaverse for the brands. Same thing with NFTs. If people want to consider making drops, we can help them. So I would say that at some point we are ready ready for metaverse, ready for the meta retail. Maybe that's the way we are going to call it in the future.
Awesome. Is there any question that I haven't asked you, a topic that we haven't discussed that we should cover?
I don't think so. Not anything that is coming to my mind.
Adrien, I think of retail VR as a kind of this mashup of Matterport, virtual reality, augmented reality, kind of powered by this amazing platform that retail VR has put together, particularly that tool that enables 2D to be converted to 3D, create 3D objects, be able to put it in Matterport. It got a lot of exciting stuff. I'm obviously excited. I called you. I said I wanted you to be on the show. Is there a different way that you describe retail VR? Is there a sentence or two to like? How does someone go communicate this to someone else?
I would say that we ease the 3D usage for the retailers. This is really the idea: is to offer this platform that is very, very simple to use. For our clients to be able to use this 3D. That is, 3D is already completely used in the industry and has been for many years. And what we offer with this SaaS platform is really the simple way to access to 3D and really feel the value chain within the company, from sales to marketing, merchandising. And this is really what we are aiming at. I hope it summarizes.
Awesome. Adrien, thanks for being my guest on the show today.
Thank you very much, Dan. Really appreciate, and I hope your audience appreciates as well. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here discussing with you tonight.
We've been visiting with Adrien Zanelli. Adrien is one of the co-founders of Retail VR. Adrien heads up international business development. You can make an appointment with Adrien at www.retail-vr.com. You can also see many of the demos that he's showed during today's show, either a video or a live tour to actually check out at retail-vr.com. In the We Get Around Network forum, it's ADRIEN as a member of the We Get Around Network forum, WGAN forum.com. For Adrien in France at sometime after midnight, thank you for hanging in there. I'm Dan Smigrod in Atlanta, the founder of the We Get Around Network forum, and you've been watching WGAN TV live at 5.